Pick up right where we left off last time. We were dealing with this, we were sort of entertaining this idea, which is how do we get them to own the problem? And I hear this all the time from leaders just like you. I would like them to own the problem. And when I sort of ask them, like, well, what do you mean by that? What they say is, I want them to take the problem and basically run it from, problem identification, alternatives, solution, the wrap up, like just take this thing all the way from A to Z. And we want to do that. We want to get them to do that. And last time we were chatting on the blogo here, we looked at the problem itself, how to approach that. And the core idea of this whole thing, by the way, getting them to own the problem, is that when our team members come to us with their problems, which is supposed to happen, it's inevitable, it's good. When they come to us with their problems, the second we start offering our solutions, we take that problem and make it our own. If we want them to own it, we can't give them necessarily our solutions. And there is some nuance to this, but just in general, that's the idea here. So what are we doing? We mentioned last time, we got this collaborative process of problem solving. That's going to be coaching, collaboration. And what we're doing inside of this problem to solution to implementation to wrap up, what we're doing is we're trying to collaborate, right? That's going to be what we're doing. In many relationships at work between boss and like team member, it's not really collaboration, right? I mean, let's be honest. It's something a little bit different. So when we're talking about problem last time, what I had mentioned was mindset, that we kind of got to get into this thing with the right mindset. And the mindset is right around this word here, which is allow. And what we would like is to allow our team members to have a problem. Wouldn't that be nice if we just allowed people to have their problems? Let me try something here. Just because it's a problem doesn't mean it needs to be solved. And certainly doesn't mean that you need to be the one to solve it as the leader, right? And so we get to it with allowing them. How do we allow them the problem instead of taking it and making it ours through the solutions, okay? Instead of doing that, we want to hold back our solutions, none of our solutions yet, and we're going to start asking some questions. So we did that last time. Okay, that's great. Sounds good. And now we're kind of moving into the problem a little bit more. We've set the stage here, and now we're looking at the solution itself. So for them to own the solution, they have to be in charge of it. That's the thing. For them to own the solution, they have to be in charge of the solution. Solutions are always more motivating when they are ours, as opposed to when we're simply executing somebody else's great ideas. When it's our great idea, all of a sudden it's like, boom, let's do it. When it's somebody else's great idea, it's fine, but maybe not great. So for them to own it, we want them to be in charge of it. How do we make sure that they retain ownership? We don't offer up our solutions. Not yet. What do? We are going to facilitate ideas here. This is going to be about idea facilitation. How do you facilitate ideas? We started that process back in the mindset in step 1, which is like, what have you tried, or what do you suggest as being some questions? And that might start to bring up some creativity. And so now we're going to facilitate the ideas. We're going to sort of take those, whatever's coming up, and stretch it out and see what we can figure out about it. So what makes this the best alternative? Might be a question that we ask about an idea that they're thinking about running with. What makes that the right approach, right? More what questions, note all what questions. Well, except for the bottom one, right? What might get in the way of success? Right? Forcing them to sort of think through maybe the limitations or the barriers or maybe some problem areas. And then this one here, and hear me on this one if you would, because there's a real nuance to this question thing. When we say something like, walk me through a few more of the details, that's great. It's a decent coaching question. What we're doing is when they walk us through some of those details, it's not necessarily for our benefit. I mean, maybe we're going to learn something out of it. That's fine. But the point is not to actually walk me through it. The point is to get them talking more about the solution. I heard somebody say once, I thought this was really good. They said, talking is thinking. And what we're trying to do is slow the, get them to slow the brain down a little bit, which kind of skips around or, kind of jumps around maybe to different solutions and goes really fast. Slow it down into talking. And through that process of talking, sometimes the ideas or the ways of resolving a issue just start to materialize. Walk me through a few more of the details. By the way, every question we ask as coaching leaders, every single one, is not for our benefit. None of the questions are for our benefit. There's this saying in coaching where they say you want to coach the who and not the what. Meaning we're not coaching the situation or the problem, but we're coaching the person who's in the situation or the person who's having a problem. And I'm going to take that, I kind of take that and add on to it a little bit. And that coaching that we are doing for that person, the questions we are asking are not for us as the coach, right? So we can better understand, so we can have a better, idea of what's happening, so we can offer up our even better solutions. That's not it. Not it. What is it? We ask those questions so that they can start coming up with more and better solutions as we go. Okay, so we talked last time about the 3 C's, okay? So we're in this, kind of bounce around here a little bit, but we're in this step 2, which is solution. And we want them to own the solution. They have to be in charge of it. That's great. So we're going to facilitate ideas here. We're going to get them started back here. We facilitate ideas up here. What we are doing is using one or more of the 3 strategies, core strategies, and I call those strategies the 3 C's. We talked about this before. These are going to be our strategies, okay? And those strategies are in service of a goal, okay? So that goal, there's 2 components to the goal, and one of those components is the whole point of this series, which is we're trying to incentivize them to own the problem, the solution, and its implementation, to really take ownership of their work and the issues that are coming in that they are responsible for. Ownership is a goal of coaching when we're doing the coaching leadership style. And what is the other goal? We want to incentivize and help develop their unique thinking as a team member. If we got 10 different team members on our team, right? They all come to us with different experiences, different educational backgrounds, different points of view, different upbringing, different ideas. This is where all the good stuff comes from. This is where all the innovation comes from, right? This is where all the, how can we do it better, faster, cheaper, better for the client? That's where all that comes from, is all of those people working through all of their different points of view. So we're incentivizing that and develop their unique thinking to own the problem. Our strategies for doing that: capability, confidence, and capacity. Capability, I don't think I mentioned this last time. The sum total skill sets for getting things done. All of the things that we can muster to get things done. That's our capability. Confidence, key, quality of the belief in your abilities. And capacity, the amount of high work you can sustainably reduce produce rather. And high work, we're talking about like really inspired work, that stuff that's really great. That is what we are looking at. So those strategies, we have a goal. We have these strategies here. And then we have the strategies break down into practices. We're going to do more on these practices in future practices in future blogs. But all of these, questions in here are under so we have 9 core coaching practices that we talk about here at the center. And this practice is the Ask Better Questions practice. Okay, Ask Better Cues. And so that's part of this. That's what we're getting at. Help them own that problem. All right, so what's the work for you this week? The work is ask a question. This is the ultimate respect question. Don't just jump in and start helping when somebody brings you a problem, especially when you're working at solution stage. Right? Collaborating is not, when we're doing coaching leadership, isn't necessarily you dumping ideas in there. But if we're noticing as we're talking about this that they're super stuck on it, it could be that we just ask a question, shows a ton of respect. Oh, it's a big respect question. How can I help? How can I help? And let them see, because they might say, I got it here, I want to work on this. Or they might say, actually it'd be helpful, if you've experienced this before, what's your perspective? But that way we are asking them, right? We're putting out an invitation there to help, and it's up to them, since they're directing the solution here, it's up to them to take us up on it or not. Okay, so that's the work for next week. When we come back next time, we're going to work through step 3, which is the implementation stage. And then in the one before that, and after that rather, we'll get into the follow-up. Okay, that's it for this week. Hey, I hope this has been helpful for you, and we will see you next time.